Everybody wants retirement to go so smoothly. But what happens if it doesn't? Well, oftentimes if it doesn't, there's some things that you just can't control. Things happen in life. Maybe the kids need a lot of money or whatever the case is. But there are a lot of things that you can control. I want to go over 3 of them right this second on ways that you can make sure that you are properly planning and doing retirement the right way versus derailing your entire plan and everything that you've really worked for. So let's take a look here. The first one is just getting out of your own way. So if we're looking here, this is S&P 500 daily returns annualized. Let's just say for the past 25 years, it's about 7.91%. Charts dating back to 2022 here. And so missing the best 10 days, 4.6%. Missing the best 20 days, 2.6%. You can see the pattern. If you were to miss certain days in the market, you are going to have a lot less returns. Now, maybe you're not 100% in the S&P 500, but either way, if you're trying to jump in and out all of the time, this could really get dangerous. You've got to really figure on what is going to be the best strategy for you and making sure you're not just trying to have the crystal ball without actually having the crystal ball, because none of us actually have it. And so this chart right here is the line graph showing you just the basic same thing here of what you were just seeing in the bar chart. But what we're looking at here is really looking at, how much of a gap you have. Look at the gains up here that you would have versus if you were to try to time the market specifically and not just ride it. Now, in retirement years, I understand maybe you're not taking the risk that you would all have with the S&P 500. Maybe you're wanting to take a little off the top as the gains, as you get some gains there. And we talk about that sometimes, but ultimately just making the right decisions. I had a client back in 2020. They were a client. They didn't want to listen to me, and eventually we decided to just agree to disagree and go about our own business. And they jumped out of the market, and, okay, it was, 2020. It was a kind of a crazy year, but then they said, hey, get me back in the market. Then they wanted to get back out of the market. Then they wanted to get back in the market. This happened literally 3 or 4 times. And then ultimately they said, I just want all the way out. I want all the way out. And I said, okay. I took them all the way out. They took their money out. They went about their business. And it was at that point that we were literally right at the bottom of where 2020 was. And from there, what happened is we just had this V-shaped recovery, and it was just straight up from there. And so you've got to be really careful with this. Don't just try to jump out when the market's going down, because where's the bottom at and when are you going to get back in? Those are the questions you really have to start to calculate and talk through. Now, another one that we want to talk through is the idea of where to withdraw from. So let's go ahead and take a look here. This is Nest Egg. It's a software we use with clients. And what I want to talk through is this person here has $400,000 in pre-tax 401k. They've got $5,000 in a taxable account with $150,000 cost basis. And then they have $193,000 in another taxable account right here with a 0 cost basis. So they've got a few different accounts here that they're working with. And the idea is, okay, well, where are they going to pull from? What makes the most sense? So if you go right here in your financial plan, if you have a financial plan, this is what you want to look at. And so look here at $244,000 more if they take from the taxable, then the tax deferred account, versus if they just take equally from each of them. Or what if we say, well, you know what? We can actually take from the tax deferred account, the pre-tax account first. Well, look here, you would actually have $378,000 more if you took from the taxable account first. So ultimately, it's really figuring out your withdrawal strategy when you're in the retirement years to make sure you're not just completely derailing it and basically just either handing money to the government or you're just not keeping more money in your pocket. And another one, the last one that I want to talk through with you is the rule of thumb. Gosh, there are so many rules of thumb, and just showing you the simple plan that I showed you, just a simple plan, that's kind of a Leonard Skinner reference there. And so the simple plan that I'm showing you, though, with the rule of thumb is you should have 25 times your planned annual spending by the time you retire. Well, guess what? That's not the case in this scenario, because this gentleman here has $888,000 with a goal of spending $5,000 a month. So that's $60,000 a year. Nowhere near 25 times when they are retiring. And so the rules of thumb sometimes will derail you, because you'll say, hey, maybe I have to work a little bit longer. Or there's other rules of thumbs. There's so many that are out there. There's the 4% rule. There's a lot of people that, man, they will just die for this rule. They love this rule that much. It's just crazy how much they'll argue about it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but but there's certain ways you can look at this. Charles Schwab, actually, this is a Charles Schwab article, has some great input on this and kind of just giving you the breakdown there. You should have 100 minus your age and stocks when you retire. Well, in that plan there, that person actually was 61 years old, so they should have, what, 39? 39 is in stocks when they retire, so 39% of their allocation stocks. That's not that much. So what happens to the rest of their plan, or if they're giving up that much growth, if that's the rule of thumb? Really, a financial plan is going to be able to help solve this problem for you. So it's something you want to think through. So make sure that you're not just trying to go after all these different things or not have a strategy or not have a financial plan in place to direct you through retirement. Make sure you're doing the right things so that you can stay retired. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.